Okay, now we're going to bring my amazing assistant up on stage. Jenna, go ahead and come on up here. We're going to show everybody the motions that the elbow and the hand should be able to run through. So what we're going to do now is the elbow has essentially 4 really basic motions. And really most people only understand 2 of the motions of the elbow. So the elbow is designed to be able to flex, and it's designed to be able to extend. The other motion that people don't really think about, and they think that this only happens at the wrist, is that the elbow actually has a pronation and a supination motion. And so this joint up here between these 2 bones, what's happening is that when the arm or the hand goes from being face up to face down, is that the 2 bones are actually, the radius is rolling over top of the ulna. And so there's actually more going on here at the elbow than what most people really realize. So now if we come down into her wrist should be able to flex, and her wrist should be able to extend backwards. So we're going to go ahead and put your arm up like this, nice and easy. The wrist should be able to flex over. The wrist should be able to extend over backwards. A couple of other motions that the wrist has is that the wrist should be able to come away from the body here, and it should be able to move into the body this way. And then when we come into the hand itself, is that her hand, there's all of these small bones within her hand, and the hand should have some softness and give to it. And what can happen for a lot of people is that when all of these connective tissues get really tight and the brain thinks that there's something going on, is that it locks all of this tissue down, and it prevents all of these bones from being able to float and articulate with each other like they're supposed to. So then as we come into each of the fingers, the thumb actually has some very interesting options with it. The thumb should be able to come out, and then it should be able to come in, but then it should actually be able to go into a motion called opposition, where the thumb actually can come over and touch the pinky finger on the other side. So the thumb is very interesting. That opposable thumb for us gives us a lot of advantages. Buttoning our shirts, putting our pants on, all those great things. And then each finger should be able to, at each of the joints, should be able to have some flexion and extension in each of the fingers. And over time, what happens with these connective tissues, or when the joints start to get inflamed, is that all of those connective tissues contract, and they prevent each of these joints from being able to bend over like they're supposed to. So if Jenna want to go ahead and like go through a piano wave with your hands, very nice. And then if you were to close each of your fingers one at a time, we'll start with that's fine, and then over. And now these fingers should also be able to close all the way over the top there. So having good functionality out of this elbow, hand, and wrist is really dependent upon all of these connective tissues being soft enough and supple enough to take them through their ranges of motion, but at the same time, the brain needs to feel safe that it can accomplish those tasks and motions without any trauma happening. And sometimes that brain gets a little confused and it thinks that there's a problem when there might not actually be any trauma at all in that area. So thank you very much. Jenna can hop back down.